All right, this game is also on Friday, December the 20th. It's the Gasparilla Bowl, Raymond James Stadium, Tampa Bay, home of the Buccaneers. We've got Tulane and Florida. Florida, 12.5-point favorites, 50.5 the total. This has actually gone up even more since I put the marquee up there, 11.5 up to 12.5. And look, for Tulane, the big news is Darian Mensah, their quarterback, has hit the transfer portal. He will not play in this bowl game. Now, before we get a little too carried away, because certainly the betting markets are getting carried away with this news, their two remaining quarterbacks on the roster are Ty Thompson, an Oregon transfer, who has thrown, I believe, let me just count it up here, 31, 42, 77 pass attempts in 4 years, 3 at Oregon, 1 here at Tulane, 11 pass attempts this year. So he's got some experience behind him. And the other is Kai Horton. Kai Horton's been at Tulane for a few years now. He was here when Willie Fritz was the head coach. In fact, I remember Kai Horton getting in as a starter for at least a handful of games when Michael Pratt, the former quarterback here at Tulane, got in. And Kai Horton. So they have some experience. They have a decent amount of experience here with these two quarterbacks. One of them is going to start, Ty Thompson or Kai Horton. We assume it's going to be Thompson because he's listed ahead of Horton right now on the depth chart. But they do have experience, both of these guys. They've both thrown a decent amount of passes in their college football career. And you got the bowl practices for John Sumrall to, get them ready to rock here for this bowl game as well. So, it may not be lost for Tulane on offense just because Darian Mensah's gone from the program. That being said, Tulane did not finish the season well. They looked like they kind of had all the fucking air taken out of their balloon by the loss to Memphis, which took away the playoff, any chance of the playoff for them, which took away the chance to host the AAC championship game. Instead, they had to go to West Point, New York in the frigid cold and play Army there. And you saw how well, or in this case, not well, they reacted to it, getting absolutely whipped. And all of a sudden, the run defense has fallen apart for Tulane the last couple of games.
All those cupcakes that looked great. Yeah, then exactly.
And that's the problem. And that's the concern in this matchup, because what's Florida's strength on offense? They want to be able to, especially with DJ Lagway, a very mobile, athletic quarterback, you want to be able to have the run game work. And for a long time, it was looking like, pretty good against the run, Tulane. And don't forget, too, about that Army debacle for the Tulane run defense in the AAC championship game. John Sumrall had given up 9 points in 3 previous games combined against a triple option offense in his coaching career between Troy and Tulane. He had given up 9 points in 3 games against a triple option team prior to Friday night against Army, when his defense got absolutely lit up and couldn't stop anything in that game. So you have to take that with a grain of salt, that this is just a Tulane defense that's fallen. 69 points given up the last 2 losses to Army and Memphis for this Tulane team. Mensah out. And by the way, from an excitement and an enthusiasm perspective, we obviously have talked a lot about how Florida fought the good fight for Billy Napier. They saved his job, the effort they gave, beating Kentucky, giving Georgia everything they could handle, taking Tennessee down to the wire, upsetting LSU, upsetting Ole Miss, and really ending Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss's playoff hopes by beating them, whipping Florida State in the final game. This is a team that played their ass off, and they saved their coach's job. And a bowl game, I think, might excite Florida. This is a Florida program that's been down the last few years. It's a Florida program that, last year, when you look at it, it was a tough year for them, all things considered. They didn't go bowling last year, the Florida Gators, and it was a disappointing season. So even a minor bowl game like the Gasparilla Bowl, I have a feeling it's going to excite them. And I don't see any major player movement in the transfer portal yet for Florida. Put it this way, I understand why people are liking Florida, even at a big number like this, and especially with the problems we've seen from Tulane defensively, losing Mensah. And yes, Thompson and Horton have experience, but is it experience that's going to work against a Florida defense that, let's be honest, after a kind of a rough start to the year, it's another reason why Florida was pretty good down the stretch, was that defense really started to play a lot better. The shutting down Ole Miss, shutting down LSU, they shut down, throw out Florida State because their offense has been broken all year, but the LSU and the Ole Miss performance defensively from
Yeah, they got
Florida,
turnovers
very,
too.
very impressive. And they forced a
Yeah, in
ton
those
of
games.
turnovers. So can Tulane move the football? And can Tulane stop the run? All of a sudden they can't. So I get it. People are laying it with Florida. I understand the reason for it. CMAC, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think under 2 touchdowns, this might be the move. But I'd wait for everyone who's in and out with Florida. I mean, the wins were good down the stretch. They're gonna have this break, and yeah, are they gonna be up for this game? You know, they saved his job. One thing, it just happened like an hour or two ago, but Summerall is to stay too. They gave him a contract extension, and that's pretty big. And when all these, not only players are moving with money, but coaches too. So I think that's pretty big news for Tulane, and who's really down after 2 losses.
Yeah.
But they've shown. I mean, this coach has done great things there the last few years. So that's good for Tulane. I think it's all right if Thompson or Horde plays as well. What about the defense? I don't know what to make of them. The last 2 weeks get killed, and I faded them both games. Well, if this goes over 2 touchdowns, maybe is there value with Tulane then? This one's the wait for me right now, because on paper, everyone's just going to take Florida here, right?
Yep.
Everyone's seeing what they last saw with Tulane getting their ass kicked, Florida playing well down the stretch. Just lay it, right?
It's just that simple. Yeah, just lay it. But
well, that's what people are. I think you should wait and do your due diligence on this game. But
you definitely wait. If you want Tulane at all in this game, you wait. There's no way you bet it now. Yeah, you'll get a better number closer to kickoff for sure with this one.